Hello, and welcome to the first Rant Rave review of 2021. No longer the worst year ever. So, these aren't going to be very ranty or ravey, but they are reviewy. Yay! Very short video today, because I also wrote a blog. If you want to go to my blog and read about what I'm doing this year, yeah. Anywho, I'm going to talk about the last two movies to come out in the past 8 months. The only two movies, practically. Wonder Woman 1984 and Tenet. No spoilers, because you should see both of these movies. Wonder Woman 1984, I legit don't get all the hate that it's getting. It was fun. Not everything made sense. The third act, I would have changed massively, but it was okay. I will say, let's go the bad and then the good. The bad. There was an extremely morally questionable thing that didn't have to happen with Steve Trevor. I think everyone pretty much knows what this is by now. But literally, it didn't need to be in the movie. So if you want to skip the, 30 seconds of that one scene and still have the movie and not be creepy, do it. Because I don't know why the writers, put this in. It's very strange. Anyway, the third act, there were certain things which I don't think were internally consistent with, let's just say that there is this magical object, that feeds most of the film, and there was one part that I was really confused. I was like, with Barbara, I was very confused with how it made sense in terms of the thing, and there was this other thing that happened with the satellites. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what this is, where I was like, technically you could have that make sense, but it's a little bit less satisfying than what you could have done. You could have done something with this certain televangelist, which is mentioned earlier in the film, and I think it would have been more satisfying. Smaller scale, but more satisfying. Anyway, that's the bad. The good was I really liked it. It was fun. I like Wonder Woman as a character because she's a good person and a hero, and so many scenes where she pays attention to bystanders and has to try and help them. It's great in the second opening scene. There is this mall, which again, it gave me major Spider-Man vibes. I love Spider-Man, best of all superheroes, but it gave me Spider-Man vibes because this isn't really a spoiler. There's a guy who's about to, he's threatening a kid, and everybody in the mall is stop, stop. Even his cohorts are stop, dude, what are you doing? And that just, I don't know, it gave me the people of New York caring about things, Spider-Man type vibe. Anyway, and then of course Wonder Woman shows up and fights the guys, and there's one part where she's standing, and this dumb kid walks behind her, and she's and has to go save the kid, and then fight the guys, and it's a superhero does. Not Captain Marvel. Yeah, so it was fun. And I also really love the way that she moves. It's so, floaty and cool. And my little brother did not care for the way her whip was animated, but I liked it. Let's see what else. Also, the whole subplot with Barbara Minerva had major Spider-Man vibes, so I was like, if you're a fan of Spider-Man, you'll probably like this movie. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a really cool car chase at one point, and the total stealing the show, star of the show, is Maxwell Lord, who, it's not even a spoiler to say, is obviously the villain. You don't have to know comics to know that a dude whose name is Maxwell Lord is probably going to be the villain. But the way he does what he does, he has his whole scheme. And it is so cool. It's one of those things in speculative fiction that I love, is when people say, here's some special object or something, and here's the rules for how it works. And his character's okay, I'm gonna completely bend them to my will in ways that no one even thought that you could do it that way. And it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. Really entertaining and interesting. So yeah, not perfect. The third act, aside from certain logical inconsistencies, the sound mixing was a crime against humanity. I don't think it was just because of the theater we were in. I blame all of Hollywood, because I've heard of other modern movies, Tenet, where you can't hear what the heck is going on. I don't know if it would be much of a problem if you were watching it at home, but I watched Wonder Woman in a theater, and I literally, there was like a good like 5 minutes where I could not hear what Wonder Woman or Maxwell Lord were saying. You could only hear the music and the sound effects and like background talking. You couldn't hear the dialogue at all. It was so bad. And again, that's not a problem with the script. That's a problem with the sound editing. And Dear Hollywood, like check yourself. Anyway, but again, that's like many movies nowadays. Anyway, Wonder Woman 1984, not great, but fun. So go see it. Have fun. It's not as good as Spider-Man because I love Spider-Man so much. But it was fun. It was fun. It was a fun little story. Ignore the super morally questionable part and support your local movie theaters if you can, because I love movie theaters. Anyway, Tenet. No spoilers whatsoever for this, because I know that a lot of people wanted to go in completely blind, which is what I did. I knew the premise and that was it. So, I will say, speaking of really bad sound mixing, pro tip, watch this at home with subtitles. Because so many people were saying it was super confusing, and I think I started watching, and the first scene is an action scene and I couldn't hear, so I just turned subtitles on. The rest of the movie made perfect sense. Like, it was not confusing, and I swear it's because a lot of the times that it's explaining what's going on, it's during, there's music and weird, and the sound mixing isn't great, but if you watch it with subtitles, that's not a problem. It was really fun, and again, I didn't find it confusing at all. Granted, I watch a lot of really weird, like, sci-fi fantasy things, but without giving anything away, I will say that the rules of the world made sense, and I don't think there were any internal inconsistencies as far as I could tell. Like, I'd have to watch it again, because obviously the first time you watch it, you're like, But I think it all made sense. I think it all checked out, and I don't get why people thought it was so very, very confusing. It was good. It was fun. I would say it's kind of I don't know if you call it a caper? Like, you know how Inception is a heist, but with mind-bending, weird dream stuff? This is a certain guy has a mission. Won't tell you what that is or why, but, he has to go to this place and get this thing, go to that place and get that thing. Kind of a globe-trotting adventure. And I thought it was fun. I don't know. I guess my one problem is the villain was, like, ridiculously cartoonishly villainous, which I never care for. I like when villains aren't that evil. But, I mean, it worked. It worked. But, yeah, it was fun. I really liked Robert Pattinson's character. Like, 10 out of 10 character. Like, so good. More like this in other movies, please. Yeah. And, yeah, just a good ending. The ending even felt like, I mean, it makes it a definite homage to certain other classic movies, but it felt, with that ending, I was just like, this is great. Good movie. Yeah, I really, really liked it, so highly recommend Tenet. Wonder Woman 1984. This is a very short review, but I also wrote a blog about what I'm doing this year, so go read that too. See you for the rest of the year. Yay! Bye! Bye-bye.